Alright guys, how's it going? It's OBS because I'm finally recording something off my laptop. Um, so what I'm basically doing is a looter shooter tier list. I'm a huge looter shooter guy. Let me move this right here to the back because I don't play Warframe. But all the other games on here besides Warframe, I play. Um, I've been in a looter shooter since the first Borderlands. Um, and anytime there's a new looter shooter that comes out, I have to try it. Now there is a game missing on here, and I hate to tell the guy who made it, but you're missing Breakpoint. Breakpoint was a pretty horrendous looter shooter, but I want to get that one out the way. That one went in D tier because that game is so sloppy with the loot drops and just horrible. But here's how I'm going to rate, like, put these looter shooters in tier lists. I'm going to be judging these games based off of loot drop rate, loot quality, such as does a loot feel unique from one another, does it feel unique, and all that, and not to mention the RPG elements and story. Now, these are all going to factor in, and also enjoyment if it feels enjoyable in the gameplay. So mainly gameplay and loot drop rate. But anyway, the first Division. I was so hyped for this game, and you know what? I felt like it was a little bit disappointing, but it was still a good example of what a good third-person looter shooter can do. And a great gunplay, cover-based gunplay. I played this game on stream, and everyone seemed to like it, but I don't think it's the best out of the two divisions. This division had a fantastic setting of an abandoned, well, sort of abandoned snowy New York. And I love that setting. I love the snowy setting in New York. Not to mention, the loot drop rate, from what I've seen, is not that bad. As Ubisoft's first attempt at a looter shooter, I think they did fantastic for their first attempt at a looter shooter. Now, do I think they overhyped the game a bit? Of course I do. Division was very overhyped. If they would have downplayed it a bit, the game would have been way more well known. I mean, the community has loved it over the years. Like, they've grown to love it over the years. The Division One was a great first attempt from Ubisoft to do a looter shooter, and I think with the second game they really knocked it out the park. But the gameplay feels smooth. The shooting feels great. Realistic recoil for a third-person shooter. If you use an LMG, you're not going to hit a lot, but once you do hit, it's going to knock that armor off, knock that health off. It's very realistic when it comes to the gunplay, and I love the fact that it's more cover-based because I love going from cover to cover. As you saw in my streams, it's primarily cover-based looter shooter, third-person shooting, which is not bad. I'm more used to first-person looter shooters, as most of these down here are first-person looter shooters. But as a game itself, it's not that bad. The story's decent. Well, the story's pretty good. The setting's nice. It's just, to me, sometimes the one thing that holds it back is the loot quality. The legendaries don't feel anything unique. They're reskins of guns that do way more fucking damage than normal, which is a good thing. You don't want to have like an alien tech gun in Division, but I wish they would have done something like a modified looking gun or anything like that. But it's there. Sometimes they look different, sometimes they don't. There's little details you have to really pay attention to. But that's like the one drawback to Division. That's what keeps it from that S tier, is that. But other than that, the Division One is a great example of a looter shooter. And if you're into third-person shooters and not into first-person shooters, and you want a quality looter shooter, go for the Division because I think you'll be highly impressed. Came up next is the first of the Borderlands remaster that came out not so long ago. I'll put that in A tier as well. Um, I wish they really would have improved on the story, but everything else they improved on. The gunplay feels a lot better. The loot quality feels a hell of a lot better than the OG Borderlands. Um, I do love the new loot they added. Yes, they added new loot to this game, which is great. I'm happy they did it. I think they added 30 new guns, 30 new legendaries to drop, which is absolutely insane. And I think this remaster is a great way for newcomers to come into the Borderlands franchise. Because if you would have played the original Borderlands back on 360 on Xbox One, I am so terribly sorry. If you want to get into Borderlands, pick up the Borderlands trilogy that's on Xbox and PlayStation right now. You'll get that, Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the Pre-Sequel. Two out of three good games, just saying. But Yeah, this was a great starting point for any newcomer into Borderlands franchise. Now I can officially say if you want to play Borderlands, get the first one because the first one will introduce you to where it came from, but it's cleaner, it looks better, and it's just overall better experience. Like I said, the really big thing that holds this game back is its story. There's no story to the game. It was just basically a glorified tech demo for their engine to generate loot. So if that interests you, go ahead and pick up the first Borderlands. I think you'll enjoy it. Up next is the Division 2, and this is going at S tier. To me, this one lived up to the hype. I had a lot of fun with it. Not only was the story great, but the loot actually felt unique. The legendaries felt very different because they came with more modifications, more visual differences than like the rares and the commons and all that. They really felt different from one another, which is what you would want in a looter shooter. And not to mention, it had the same great gameplay from the first division, cover-based shooting, third person. It said this based in a it's based in Washington D.C. and there's no snow in this one. It mainly storms and all that storms very heavily, but it's set in like a very sunny or sometimes very grim and like cloudy Washington D.C., which I think was a great setting as well. Although I do prefer the setting of snowy New York, I do think Washington D.C. was a great place to base this game on. So Division 2, great looter shooter, one I would highly recommend you play. I would highly recommend both divisions if you want to get into looter shooters and you're into third person ones. I would highly recommend it. Next is Borderlands 3. This was easily one of my favorite games of last year. I have sunken in so many hours into Borderlands 3. Um, the more I think about it, I don't know where I want to. I want to put it in A tier, unfortunately, because it is still one of my favorite games of last year. But they did a lot of missteps with the story. I do think the story on Borderlands 3 is significantly weaker than Borderlands 2, like hella weaker. I The one thing that saves this game, the some things that save this game is one, the loot drop rate. It's absolutely mind blowing. If you want a game that just spews loot at you, get Borderlands 3. This game absolutely just spews loot left and right, especially if you do the double loot event. They will just straight up throw loot at you. And the loot feels so different from each other because they actually like designed more different unique designs for loot. Like there's alien tech guns, there's fucking they returned Atlas from Borderlands 1, which was great. I'm very happy they returned Atlas. Each loot feels unique and different. For Christ's sake, there's a rocket launcher that shoots radioactive cheeseburgers. Like, do I need to say more? The one thing that really holds this game back is the story and characters. I did not like the character of Ava. I thought she was very annoying. And the story could have been a lot better. I feel like none of the original writers from Borderlands 2 were on this. Now, the DLC that's come out for it has been phenomenal. Uh, the heist at the Handsome Jackpot and Guns, Love, and Tentacles were really well done, and I can't wait for the third expansion. But everything else feels great. The gameplay, everything feels great. It's just a story that really let me down. Next is the very first Destiny, and the more I play it, I'm actually going to put this in A tier the more I play it. I've been recently replaying through it. I had to rebuy it, which I don't know why this game is still $60 fucking dollars, but it is to get the collection. But when this game first came out, everyone shat on it. Oh, it didn't live up to the hype. Oh, it wasn't as good. But then, and I was one of the ones who agreed. I was like, this game feels very bland, very boring. But I did love the fact that Peter Dinklage was in it. But then The Taken King came out, and everyone's telling me, "Oh, dude, they fixed the issues. It's way better now." So I hopped in, and they did. They fixed everything from the loot drop rate to the mission structure at times. Unfortunately, they changed out Peter Dinklage for Nolan North for the voice of the Ghost, which I really wish they would have kept Peter Dinklage, but everyone complained, "Oh, he sounds too robotic and too lifeless." He plays a lifeless robot who helps you named Ghost. I think that voice was perfect for it. But no, we got Nolan North, which I don't mind Nolan North. I really do wish they would give you an option to select between Peter Dinklage and Nolan North for the Ghost voice, but I digress. All the legendaries in this game feel very unique. If there's one thing that Destiny does right is the fucking loot. They all feel very different. You can customize your guns with different gun skins and customize your uh, your character with different armor pieces and color them and all that. They really make you feel like you're in control. And not to mention the gunplay is just absolutely perfect. Especially since it's created by the guys who did Halo, Bungie. Bungie did such a good job creating this fun, fast-paced fucking combat with smooth gameplay. I mean, the gunplay just feels absolutely on point. It feels like Halo, but better gunplay, but a looter shooter. It feels so damn good. And it is always online, which is going to turn a lot of people away. It is a MMO type looter shooter, but if you look past that, I think Destiny is going to be one of your new favorite looter shooters. I'm going to be streaming this game on Mixer at 12 o'clock tonight, which I'm going to leave my Mixer link in a video I want to do later on. But yeah, Destiny gets the S tier. Up next is Borderlands 2. Yeah, this is the best looter shooter ever made, in my opinion. Borderlands 2 is the pinnacle of what looter shooters are. Just fantastic loot design, fantastic story. I love the Vault Hunters in this game. Unlike with Borderlands 3, which I forgot to bring up, the Vault Hunters in Borderlands 3, they're not going to add any new ones, which pisses me off. The only Vault Hunter I play as is Zane the Operative. But in Borderlands 2, I have mained Salvador, Maya, Krieg, Zero, Axon, and most importantly, Gage. Gage is my main. So I played all of the characters in Borderlands 2 and had a blast. When I played Borderlands 3, I was like, there's only one operator I like. But Borderlands 2 has the best DLC, the best loot, the best story, the best villain in Handsome Jack. Goddamn, Handsome Jack's a great villain. And fantastic loot drop rate. Like, if you want a game, again, that spews the loot at you, this game does it pretty well. Especially if you go into the higher difficulties and Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, which is the one where they spew legendaries left and right. The game is great. It's a great looter shooter, and if you never played it, I would highly suggest it. Up next is EA's and BioWare's failed attempt at a fucking looter shooter. Yeah, that goes in D. Fuck Anthem. I bought Anthem, and I played through Anthem. As a looter shooter fan, this game confuses me. This does not feel like a looter shooter. This feels like someone's failed attempt at one. I get what BioWare was trying to go for, but it just felt like a rushed project, and it was. If you watched Angry Joe's video on this game, they only took 12 months to develop this game. This game needed at least 3 years of development time. 3 years. I mean, look at something like Borderlands 2. That took a long time to be developed. Destiny 2 took a while to be developed. I mean, Anthem was developed in 12 months. No loot feels different, and if it had different feeling loot, if the loot felt different and unique from each other, I would at least sing its praise. But guess what? The loot doesn't feel different from one another. It's literally just, oh, there's a common assault rifle. There's a legendary. Can you tell the difference? Not really. Just has a different skin on it. Nice job, BioWare. And I mentioned the story is pure garbage. The only thing I can sing this game's praise about is the fun shooting and the fun flying mechanic. That is literally it. There's no good mission structure, no good story, and no good loot quality. There is no good loot quality in a looter shooter. How am I supposed to be feel like I'm awarded, be rewarded when I get a legendary that looks the same as a common? That's not how you design a looter shooter. Take notes from Division and Destiny and Borderlands. They have done this way better. Take notes from them, and literally, if you read up on the story, you are not allowed to say the word Destiny in the Anthem production. If you said the word Destiny, you were in trouble because they wanted to be different from Destiny. Yeah, well, it was different from Destiny. It was way shittier. So congratulations, BioWare. I hope Anthem 2.0 fixes a lot of the issues. I hope you do well. But as it stands right now, the first Anthem is just hot trash. Up next is Borderlands, the pre-sequel. And this one I'm putting in D tier as well because this is just a lazy as fuck reskin of Borderlands 2. This was done by 2K Australia instead of Gearbox, and they just fucked it up entirely. The only good thing I can say about Borderlands pre-sequel is the fact that we can play as Jack the Doppelganger, so we feel like we're playing as Handsome Jack. Other than that, Borderlands the Pre-Sequel is literally just a failed fucking attempt to like cash in on Borderlands. It just feels very lazy to me. I do not like this game. It's just Borderlands 2 in space. And if you want that, just play Borderlands 3 because you're in space on a ship in Sanctuary. There's nothing to me that's good about this game. The loot is literally just a reskin of the Borderlands 2 loot. They only added, I think, like 20 new legendaries, and that's it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This is an entire new game. Like with the Borderlands 1 remaster, there's an excuse. It already has a bunch of legendaries built into the game, but then they added upon it. With Borderlands the Pre-Sequel, most of the legendaries are reskins of Borderlands 2's legendaries. There's nothing unique about Borderlands the Pre-Sequel, and it's one of those games that I refuse to play in a Borderlands franchise. Up next is Destiny 2. Yeah, they have done well with Destiny 2. Recently, they made it, not too long ago, they made it free to play. So now you can play the game for free on PC, which I would say go ahead and play this game. You will not regret playing Destiny 2. This game is absolutely phenomenal. One of the best first-person looter shooters ever played. That's why it's an S tier. Really well done, smooth as fuck gameplay. Of course, it's done by Bungie, and it's fun with friends or solo. Now, if there's one negative to get the first Destiny was that it's kind of hard doing a solo. But in Destiny 2, they designed it in a way to make it to where you can play this game solo if you want, or play with friends. It feels balanced. With Destiny 1, it didn't really feel like that, but I can look past it because of how fun it is. But Destiny 2 has a fantastic story, and the more I think about it, I think Destiny 1 should be an A tier, while Destiny 2 should be an S tier because they've done a lot of smart marketing decisions with Destiny 2, making it free to play. The business side of things, this game is booming because they made it free to play. The expansions have sold well, Forsaken and Shadowkeep. And if you have never played the two smaller expansions that have come out for Destiny 2, you're in luck because they give you them for absolutely free, including the main campaign. So not only do you get the 30-hour campaign, but you get the 2 5-hour small expansions for Destiny 2 for absolutely free, and it is phenomenal. I love the decision they made for that. So Destiny 2 goes in S tier, Destiny 1 goes in A tier. And last but not least, we got the OG Borderlands on 360, and I'm putting it B tier mainly because I would say if you want to play Borderlands 1, get the remaster. But if you don't have the remaster and have the 360, it's a fun game to play. I don't think it's held up as well. I think the graphics are a little bit rugged and rough looking. But the loot is still there. The loot system is still absolutely great for it being a tech demo and them trying to run the engine on this thing. It feels really well done, feels really smooth, and it's a very well done looter shooter first time. So the only problem I have with it is A, like I said, the gameplay doesn't feel as good as it used to, and B, there's no fucking story to the game, so it goes in B tier. So anyway, this is my tier list for looter shooters. As I said, I'm a big looter shooter fan, so hopefully you enjoyed this list, and I'll talk to you guys later.